hit an extreme new low today. We already have an approval rating of 21%. It's going to get a whole lot worse because of the actions of the leadership of this Congress. Less than an hour before this hearing started, the bill text was dropped. 1,700 pages. I asked my team, let's print it off so I can make sure that this whole committee knows what's in it, and I'll read all 1,700 pages here. Unfortunately, in 45 minutes, we couldn't print it. And you're having a hearing on a piece of legislation that we couldn't even print off in enough time. This is all part of the sham. It's a complete sham. Back in September, there was a fake artificial timeline that was set by the leadership of the Democrat Party that said we'll pass the infrastructure bill by September 27th. Still haven't been a vote on that infrastructure bill because she's linked it to what we have right here. Folks, to show fake momentum, leadership of the Democrat Party on a Thursday afternoon in September said, let's do the markup for the reconciliation bill Saturday afternoon, over a month ago, with less than 10% of the bill scored. Less than 10% of the entire bill was scored by the Congressional Budget Office. But she wanted it so she could send out a Dear Colleague letter to all of her Democrat members to show fake momentum and to create new headlines showing good faith effort to the progressives. The divisions that's within this party, we all see it. The American people see it. And she tried to make the progressives think that she was moving forward, much like this hearing today. It's nothing but a bunch of fake headlines. She went out there on C-SPAN to talk about this bill that none of you have read. None of you have read, just to create new fake headlines and false momentum to allow the media to think that they were doing something. But in fact, there's no agreement. If there's agreement, we'll have a vote today. My prediction is there will not be a vote today, probably not even a vote in this committee to pass this 1,700-page bill, because you're still going to have to rewrite it, because you have some senators on the other side of the building that will say, thumbs down, and you won't be able to pass it, because you'll have moderates of your party saying, no, I don't like it. And then you'll have progressives saying, no, it doesn't go far enough. Let me tell you, we are facing multiple crises in this nation as a direct result of your policies, the direct result of this administration's policies, whether it's the border crisis, whether it's the inflation crisis, or whether it's the energy crisis. And you know what? What you're doing with this, I don't know what's in your 1,700-page bill, but I'll talk about the 2,400-page bill that we marked up in the Budget Committee a month ago. That bill makes every one of those crises even worse for working-class families, and you should be ashamed of yourself. I have people in my congressional district that is doing everything they can to put food on their table, clothes on their backs, and gasoline in their car. In our state, because of executive orders that Joe Biden did in the first week in office, has resulted in the gas prices to go up 80% since January 20th in the state of Missouri. And in this bill, you have policies and regulations that will only make gas prices go up even higher. You have taxes on natural gas when people's worried about how they're going to heat their homes this winter, and you're trying to make it more expensive on them. And you know what? When you talk about the border crisis, we've had more than 1.4 million illegals cross the southern border since January 20th. January 20th, as the direct result of President Biden's executive orders. to eliminate construction of the border wall by rescinding the Remain in Mexico policy, which the Supreme Court said was wrong, and now he has to backtrack, and by reinstituting the catch and release. And they wonder why 1.4 million illegals have been crossing the southern border. And guess what? The 2,400-page bill that we marked up a month ago, which I'm sure there's a lot of the same provisions in the 1,700-page bill, only will incentivize people to cross the southern border even more. It provided free college to illegal immigrants, free college to millionaires, too. That's what your bill that passed out of the Budget Committee did. And you know what? It also provided amnesty using $109 billion to 10 million illegals, making the border crisis that much more worse. And then you want to talk about the inflation crisis. Folks, before you passed the Biden bailout bill in March, it was projected by CBO that inflation would be 2.0. It's tripled. It has tripled after you passed the Biden bailout, where you spent $1.9 trillion to reward your political friends, allies, and donors. And now we're facing the largest inflation that we've seen since 1981. That is a direct result of all of my constituents, all of your constituents having higher prices to purchase food on their table, clothes on their backs, and gasoline in their cars. And guess what? You're wanting to spend, according to the bill that passed out of the Budget Committee, $4.3 trillion of reckless spending. You talk about putting fuel on the inflation fire, that's what you're going to do. But why rush it through today? Other than the false headlines of momentum, maybe there's an election across the Potomac that's happening on Tuesday, and you're worried that you might need to push this through to show that you can competently govern. Or maybe, as Speaker Pelosi said, we'll pass an infrastructure bill by the time that Biden lands in Europe, 8 o'clock tonight. My bet is no infrastructure will pass tonight because of the disarray and the division within the Democrat Party. And so it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we were unable to read these 1,700 pages because we had 45 minutes to do. And let me tell you, CNN is not a media outlet that likes conservatives. Not at all. That may be shocking. 2 weeks ago, they came up with a poll and they said only 25% of Americans said that they would benefit from this legislation. 25%. CNN, that's not a Republican media outlet. The reason why you want this bill to be moving today is so the American people won't know what's in it. That's exactly why you're doing it. It's unfortunate. That's why it's a sham. That's why I'm disappointed. And that's why I'm going to make sure the American people finds out what's in this, hopefully before you all try to pass this piece of legislation. Yield back.
Well, thank you very much. It's always pleasant to everybody that this bill is not going to the floor today. So I want to, and Democrats actually welcome different points of view, and we actually believe the debates like this one we're having here will strengthen the final product at the end of the day. And I get it. The gentleman didn't vote for Joe Biden, but 81 million people did, and he won overwhelmingly. And I know my friends are obsessed with trying to deny that fact, and that's what their party stands for right now. But I just want to say that the child tax credit, we're already putting money in the pockets of hardworking Americans, and the Build Back Better plan enhances and expands home energy and efficiency tax credits. It's going to save families a lot of money on energy costs. So let's let's understand that we are having a discussion here today. That this bill is not moving to the floor today, contrary to what's being implied here. And again, but it's always wonderful to see the gentleman. And I now would